This is Haystack Help Radio on KLZ 560. Haystack Help Radio is powered by HaystackHelp.com. Finding help can be like finding a needle in a haystack, but with HaystackHelp.com, finding the needle just got easier. Now, Haystack Help Radio with Scott Watley on KLZ 560.
And welcome everybody to Haystack Help Radio. Unfortunately, I am not Scott Watley. Scott's off today. I am Dan Muir filling in for Scott. And if you don't know who I am the co-host and producer of Rush to Reason. And be sure to catch me and John Rush every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 right here on KLZ 560. And today is a special presentation of Your Money Matters brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. And today we have Jared Bozak with Affordable Interest Mortgage and on the program. Jared, welcome to Haystack.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Dan. I appreciate it.
So now this is pretty cool. You used to do like sports on radio.
I did, man. Back in college, I did some sports broadcasting for the University of Tulsa, and so I sure enjoy coming back on and doing it once in a while.
You got a great radio voice. So when you were doing sports broadcasting, did you do play-by-play? What did you do?
I did play-by-play, some soccer, men's and women's soccer, some volleyball, and a little bit of softball.
Okay, so let's go back to the day. Let's pretend. Let's just pretend for a second. Give us a call. Just give us any sort of call.
All right, and he's moving down the sideline. He's dribbling the ball. Oh, he centers the pass, and he's going to take a shot in the corner. It's a goal. Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
Go, Tulsa! All right. That got me all right. I'm ready to go out and watch some sports now.
Yeah.
This is great. So, and now you're with Affordable Interest Mortgage. What do you do for Kurt over there?
Well, I'm a loan officer. I've been with Kurt for about a year and a half, and we're just making home buyers' dreams come true.
That sounds wonderful. That's great. That's a great deal. And of course, everybody out there, if you need to get a hold of Kurt Rogers and you have questions on a mortgage, be sure to give Affordable Interest Mortgage a call at 720-895-0500 or check them out online by going to aimortgage.net. Now, we've also got Chris Hartsfield with us, and he is a realtor with Keller Williams. He's got a special program that you're all going to want to stay tuned and listen about. Chris, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do over at Keller Williams.
Sure. Thanks for having me today. I am a realtor there at Keller Williams. I've been doing real estate since 2003 and having a really good time helping people out with homes.
With buying. So like, I'm a kid and I'm deciding what I want to do when I grow up. He wanted to be a sportscaster. Now he sells mortgages. What got you into real estate? Why did you want to become a realtor?
I graduated from CSU up in Fort Collins, and I really had issues with finding housing. So I ended up buying a single family home up in Fort Collins as an investment property. Then I bought a fourplex, and then I bought a duplex in my personal portfolio, and I really liked it. And then all of a sudden, the neighbors are going, "Oh, hey, my kid's going to CSU. Can you sell us a house up there?" And so that's kind of the start of my real estate career.
I love it when careers begin like that, because then all of a sudden you've got a niche, you've got a passion, and now you're able to make a living off of that and help other people achieve their goals of home ownership.
Exactly.
No, that's really cool. So, all right. So, this is a crazy market. Denver's a nuts crazy market. I mean, home values keep going up. There's not enough houses out there. I mean, I think something like 80 or 90,000 people moved into the metro area just last year. And so what do you tell prospective people that are, maybe renting right now, looking to buy a house? What do you tell people in general about the Denver market?
It's definitely a very hot market. You're definitely seeing multiple offers. The price point for a single family home, is getting right at the $400,000 mark just to get a starter home in Highlands Ranch. So getting involved, being ready, having your mortgage, your lending set up, having that pre-qual letter, being ready to pull the trigger. On Saturdays, in Highlands Ranch, I'll go to showings, and there'll be 50 realtor cards, like a bonfire of realtor cards that have just seen the house that listed on Friday, that have already been to the house in the morning. Multiple offers, $10,000 to $30,000 over list, is being competitive at times in Highlands Ranch.
And Jared, if you don't have like your ducks in a row when it comes to financing. You're probably not going to get a house, are you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have people a lot of times who, they unfortunately they have found the house when they come to me, and it's a little bit of a process to get to the point where you're really ready to pull that trigger and make an offer on a house. And so sometimes we have to kind of walk things back a little bit and say, hey, there's a process to this. And ultimately, when you're in a situation where, like Chris said, you've got 50 agents cards at an open house or a showing, and the sellers are not even going to take the time to look at your offer if there is not included in that a letter from me saying, hey, John Doe is qualified. I've already looked at all of his information. He's been approved, and we know that this is actually going to work, because there's just so many people out there who have been through that process already.
Okay, Jared, so let's back up here a little bit. Let's say I'm that guy. So I'm out there and I'm driving. Oh, man, I just found the dream house, but I've done nothing else. So then I was listening to KLZ 560, and I hear about affordable interest mortgage. So then I call up Jared, and I go, Jared, I found my dream house. What do we do next?
Well, it's going to start with, I'm going to take about a 10 to 15 minute conversation with you, and I'm going to get your details on what your financial picture looks like, how long you've been employed, how much money you're making. I'm going to get an idea from you what your credit looks like. And once I've got that information, I'm going to go and actually take a look at your credit, because I'm not going to give you a pre-approval of any form until I've actually seen and made sure that there aren't any monsters lurking or anything like that. And then I'm going to run you through our qualification and build out a few different options for you and make sure that we're all on the same page with what your goals are. Some people are in a situation where they make good money and maybe they can afford a lot of house, but they don't, maybe their budget is set up where they don't necessarily want to spend that. So these are all just the types of conversations I'm going to have with you, but then I'm going to want to collect some documentation from you that backs up what you're telling me your income is, your tax returns, your pay stubs, and things like that. And that process can go very quickly if you're really on the ball and you have everything together, and it can get drawn out if you're not ready. So if you're even entertaining the idea of potentially going and buying, then I really recommend that you call us as quickly as you can to get that started.
Because in a sense, you really need to walk before you run. So in other words, you really need to figure out the financial aspect of it first before you go out there and find that dream house and then have your dream shattered, because there's no way
you're
getting into it.
And ultimately, I mean, Chris, as much as he loves working with you, he doesn't want to take you out and show you $500,000 houses when you're only qualified for $400,000.
That makes total sense. So once again, now these two terms confuse me. So what is the difference between pre-qualified and pre-approved?
So pre-qualified is virtually a phone conversation. It's stated income. It's kind of the old school, what was going on in, I guess, 2008 and the whole mortgage crisis, where they lended on a pre-qualification where you've just said, I make $100,000. Okay, you make $100,000, you're qualified. And now we have the step of a pre-approval where we actually go through and I've verified that I have all of your documentation. I confirm that you are in fact employed and you make the money that you say you make. And I've gone through and, like I said, made sure your credit looks good. And then I've run you through what's called an automated underwriting system, which is, there's a couple of different systems out there, and a lot of people refer to it as DU or LP. And that underwriting system has confirmed that the people who are going to underwrite this are in fact saying you're approved.
Okay. So now before we get back to Chris over here and his special programs, I want to ask you, you keep saying this one term that, a lot of people struggle with, and that is as long as your credit's good. So do you have to have really good credit to buy a house these days?
Not necessarily. We've got programs. An FHA loan, you can actually go down to a 500 if you've got the down payment to make it. Ideally with FHA, we'd like to see you be at least a 580, and that keeps you where you don't have to make that larger 10% down payment that goes with being below a 580. And ultimately, if you're down in well into the 500s, then there are potential other issues that could keep you from being able to purchase. And so I'm going to make sure that you don't have tax liens out there that we don't know about that are going to jump in and cause us problems. And there are just other potential issues that can come up that it's not exclusively a score issue when you get down to that point. And ultimately, we have the experience level and we have people that help us to be able to improve your credit. If you need a walkthrough on how to raise that credit to where you're going to improve your interest rates and you're going to lower your costs over the life of the loan, then we can walk you through those steps.
Yeah, I've actually been through that process with Kurt. So, because I'm just, business stuff and stuff like that. I just didn't have the best credit. And so I've been through that process with Kurt. Why don't you explain just a little bit about how that particular process works? Because, the guy selling you the car may say, yeah, your credit's just fine, but that may not be so true if you're looking to get a mortgage.
Yeah, so ultimately, one of the changes that happened here recently with credit reports was a good portion or the majority of tax liens and judgments have actually been removed from credit reports. That was official. There's been some debate, but July 1st to July 10th, somewhere in that time frame, so really within the last 10 days, they've made that change. And the reason for that change was just because there's so much inaccuracy on credit reports. And so the first step, really, if we've got poor credit, is I'm going to verify with you that what's showing on your credit is actually accurate, because people would be surprised how often there are mistakes on there. And then from there, some of the basic changes that you can make are how much of your available credit you're using, or if you've got some money sitting there that you can pay down balances and things like that. Those are some of the basic things that can happen. If it's something that's really in depth and you've got changes you need to make quickly, I can do what's called a rapid rescore. I've done a few of these here recently where, we've got an issue where we're going to challenge something, or maybe we need to remove a dispute on your account, and I can go, and typically I can make those types of changes roughly in about a week's time if we're on a really short timeline that we need to do this. But in normal circumstances, if you have a situation where you're going to be 2, 3, 6 months out or something like that, you can kind of go through normal processes to have those things corrected on your credit.
And so how much does this process cost?
So a rapid rescore, I think it's going to vary from credit provider to credit provider, but in general, what I see is per each account that you need to change, per bureau, it's like $35 to $40 to make the change. But if you don't have to go through the rapid rescore, then there are processes you can go through where you're not spending money, and we can kind of walk you through making those changes without, as long as you've got some time to do it. And
then does Affordable Interest Mortgage also charge a fee for helping you with your credit?
No, absolutely not. No.
Oh, wow, really? I got to get that money back from Kurt. Just kidding. All right, so we're going to take our break here in just a second, but when we get back, we're going to be talking to Chris Hartsfield with Keller Williams about this neat program he's got called Home Partners of America. And this is a program I wish I would have known about. Maybe it wasn't even available, but when I moved here 9 years ago, because it sure would have helped us out. You're listening to Haystack Help Radio. This is Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. Get a hold of Kurt and Jared over there at Affordable Interest Mortgage by calling 720-895-0500 or go to aimortgage.net. You're listening to Haystack Help Radio. We'll be right back.
What could you do with an extra $500, $1,000, or even $1,500 per month? How would that change things for you? Would you buy a new car, pay off bills, or just feel a bit more secure about your retirement? What if I told you there's a way to make your dreams a reality? I'm talking about trading and investing in the market. Now, before you say, oh, that's not for me, just hear me out. I want to invite you to a half-day trading course so you can check this out. I promise you, you'll go away smarter than when you came in. We here at Online Trading Academy sponsor this, and we'll even send you home with a free home study video guide. Your money's doing nothing for you in a CD or mutual fund. Learn how to profit when the market's up or down. Call us now while seats are still available at 303-325-2776. Use offer code radio50. 303-325-2776. That's 303-325-2776.
How do you make sure you get the lowest rates for either a refinance or purchase, or getting the right loan for you and not the one they want to sell you? Take AIM. Affordable interest mortgage, 720-895-0500. We have been offering our low rates since 2001. Loan programs to eliminate mortgage insurance and save you hundreds to thousands. Paperless loan application, quick loan pre-approval so your offer is accepted on your dream home. Purchases with only 1% down and no mortgage insurance. Take AIM, 720-895-0500. Get cash out for that home improvement without having to restart your term. Home of the Asset Manager Mortgage, where you can pay off your home in half the time without changing one penny of your spending habits. Call 720-895-0500 to find out how. Take AIM. CFPB stated that the consumer has spent over $13 billion in fees on their mortgage that they may have saved had they shopped. Call us now and start saving. Affordable interest mortgage, 720-895-0500. NMLS 298191, regulated by DORA, equal credit lender. Take AIM.
Don't fall for gimmick ads when choosing your insurance coverage. Group Insurance Analyst has been Colorado's insurance superstore since 1984, where customers can compare and shop for all of their insurance needs. At GIA Insurance, their brokers have no allegiance to any particular health, auto, or home insurance company. Take advantage of their experience, expertise, and exceptional client service. For your free quote, call today at 303-423-0162. That's 303-423-0162. Visit their website, e-gia.com, or stop by their office at 44th and Garrison Street in Wheat Ridge. Group Insurance Analyst is an official Haystack Help registered company.
Tired of walking into gun stores and seeing the same guns everywhere you go? Check out our sponsor, Old Steel Historical Firearms. Hi, this is Scott Watley of Sportsman of Colorado. At Old Steel, they specialize in the purchase and sale of historical firearms. Need to get your firearm collection appraised? They can help. Buy, sell, trade, and consignments are welcome at Old Steel. Open 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday. Old Steel Historical Firearms is located at 12 East Girard Avenue in Inglewood. That's just 2 blocks north of Hamden off Broadway. Now you can own a piece of history at Old Steel Historical Firearms. Call 720-662-7252. That's 720-662-7252. Check out their website, oldsteelguns.com.
Well, we did it now. Hi, Dan Johnson from Lynn Lyle Chevrolet, and we received a special allocation of over 600 new Chevrolets, and we're out of room. So to relieve our problem, check these deals out. A 2017 Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 for up to $11,000 off MSRP, or lease a 2017 Chevy Cruze for only $199 a month, sign and drive, or a 2017 Chevrolet Equinox for up to $6,000 off MSRP. Go east and pay the lease. Lynn Lyle Chevrolet, I-225 in East Colfax, or on the web at lynnlylechevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
A safe space for those who like to think. Rush to Reason is coming up at 3.
And welcome back to Haystack Help Radio. Dan Muir in for Scott Watley. Man, I am energized and wired today. I've got this green shake thing that my wife made me, supposed to give me energy. And then I've got coffee going. So look out. Man, by 3 o'clock today, going to be zooming.
I know it.
I'm just telling you. And that voice you just heard is Jared Bozak, and he is with Affordable Interest Mortgage. I think he's like Kurt's right-hand man. And not only that, he could be a great sportscaster. And with us, we've also got Chris Hartsfield, and he's a realtor with Keller Williams, and down on the south side, down in Highlands Ranch. And Chris, during the break, we were talking about your Home Partners of America program. And man, I wish I'd have known about this when I moved to Colorado 9 years ago. This is amazing. Why don't you go ahead and give the listeners an idea of what Home Partners of America is?
Sure. What the program is, it's a lease with the right to purchase program for a home. So a lease with right to purchase. So what that means is that they rent the purchaser, the tenant that's coming into that wants to purchase a home is going to sign up on a lease for a year lease and have the right to purchase the home later. And the Home Partners comes in and purchases the house and pays all cash, closes in 21 days. So it gives you some options that if you're relocating to Denver, if you have some credit challenges or soon to be divorced and needs housing.
Okay, well let's talk about the relocation thing, because that to me was a big problem. So when I came out here, I got transferred from Minneapolis. So I came out here and I had 5 days to find a house. someplace to live.
Very limited.
I got the wife, the kids, the dogs, all the junk. And so, we start looking at apartments. Well, they're so small. It's like, oh my gosh, so I can't do that. So we started looking at houses to rent. And let's go through that relocation process just a little bit for people that might be, driving around town right now thinking, hey, I'm going to get transferred here. Maybe somebody's listening online. They're going to be moving to Denver. Let's talk about how does this work for relocation, because you don't have a lot of time, and you don't have a lot of time to try to find every neighborhood. I mean, we went from Longmont to Castle Rock in 5 days trying to find that right spot. And we were up in Longmont thinking, this might be the place. And then finally the guy back in Castle Rock said, hey, you know what? The people backed out. Do you guys still want this? And we drove as fast as we could back around to try to land that property. But man, that's a lot. Is this something you can help out with?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the good things about the program is on the relocation is that you have to make a decision quickly. And if you want a residential home, I'm a family of 5. So going into an apartment was not really an option. The rental pool is so small, it really causes a lot of issues. Like you said, you're up and down the Front Range. So this program actually pulls from the active MLS, homes that are actively in the MLS. So then Home Partners pays cash for the home like any other transaction, and then you rent the house from them. So it gives you the flexibility of pulling from all the homes in the active MLS and finding those neighborhoods and give you the flexibility. So if you did pick the wrong neighborhood or you wanted to be somewhere else in a year, as you get used to this city and go, oh no, I really want to be on the west side as opposed to the east. It gives you that flexibility of you're just tied into a 1-year lease instead of purchasing a home kind of sight unseen, as you said.
So then do they help you? So let's say I'm moving here, I'm in a hurry. So then I pick, let's just use my example, guys. Let's say I pick Longmont. Right. So I get one of these houses in Longmont so I go through the whole process and now I'm leasing. So how long does that take? Okay, once again, time's an issue. So how long does it take to get the lease, from the time I go, okay, I'm going to move into this house in Longmont, how long does that process take before you can move in?
It's pretty rapid. So as you apply for the program, it usually takes 1 to 3 days to get approved. And then basically you're a cash buyer for that home. So you can find the home, put it under contract that same day. And then they close in 21 days, and then they hold the properties open for about 2 weeks after that, just to do renovations or paintings or new carpet or whatever needs to be done to the property. So it can be very rapid, and it's definitely a competitive advantage because they're doing a cash offer onto the property. So in a lot of other lenders, there's no financing involved, and get you into the home.
So really, there's also an incentive there for the person selling the home to go, hey, this is like a guaranteed deal.
Absolutely. And a lot of the realtors in Denver metro area are familiar with Home Partners or have had someone in their office utilize it, and they know how fast and effective it is. And a 21-day close all cash is very beneficial to everybody involved.
Well, if I was selling a property, it'd be really appealing.
Yes.
Be like, that guy's all set. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about something falling through at closing because I'm dealing with, with this big company that's got the money that's just going to pay cash for the house. And then I don't care what the person living in it does. That's pretty much the attitude of the seller, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And finding, they're wanting to move on to find another house or do whatever with their life. And absolutely.
Well, it's a huge competitive advantage all the way around. I mean, for sellers, one of the things I run into a lot is people who have all of this trapped equity in their current house, and they want to be able to go and purchase. And so by shortening that timeline for them, they're getting access to the equity in their house quicker so they can go and put the down payment on their new house. And then just the competition with buyers right now in the market. I mean, I hear buyers come to me, are so frustrated because they put in 10, 12, 15 offers and they haven't been able to get their offer accepted. And a program like this is converting them into a cash buyer. And so they have a huge competitive advantage. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of people who also make the decision. It was, it started in 2015 and they got frustrated and they said, well, we'll just wait a year and we'll try it again in 2016. And, 10% appreciation later, And then at 10% appreciation into 2017, and all of a sudden, you're getting priced out of the market at this point.
Now you're getting less house for the same amount of money that you could have 2 years ago. It's incredible how fast this market is appreciating.
Yeah, it really is amazing, and especially in Castle Rock. I went through the same thing you did. I went through a corporate relocation here. We started in Thornton, and we ended up in Castle Rock. And, we just had a meeting with our agent we bought our house 3.5 years ago, and he's projecting us at 10 to 12% appreciation for the last 3 years. It is amazing what has happened.
That is absolutely incredible. So now going back to you, Chris. So I do this lease thing. I do this Home Partners of America, lease to purchase. And so now I'm sitting there, and about a year's going by, I moved into Longmont, but I really should have been down with Dan and Jared in Castle Rock.
Right.
What happens?
Well, your commitment is just a 1-year lease. So it's first month's, last month's rent. And after the year's done, if you want to find something else, more power to you. And
so then do I call you up and I go, hey, Chris, this leasing, the purchase thing is working well, except I just don't like the location I'm in. So Chris, can you help me find another deal just like this in Castle Rock? And if my credit stuff hasn't changed, am I pretty much just like pre-approved to go on to the next one?
Yes, you are. And that's the beauty of this is flexibility, is having the program that is flexible to your needs and your certain situation that you're in from a relocation.
So that's pretty cool. So in other words, I'm not locked in. So I would think, now you guys know this a lot better than I do, but even in this hot market, it's challenging to go through the whole process of selling your house, especially if you've only lived there for a year. Let's say you bought a house, you lived there for a year, and you go, I cannot stand I-25. I drive down to the tech center every day. I live up in Longmont. I got to get to the south side. So let's say I bought the house for a year and found out that I've got to move. I would think that going through something like Home Partners of America would be a lot easier than, once again, trying to put your house back on the market, get pre-approved, all that. Am I way off base on this, Jared?
Well, ultimately, you're going to rent one way or the other. I mean, that was our attitude. When we relocated here, we wanted to rent for at least 3 months and be able to – we didn't know the city. And so to be able to kind of learn our way around and understand where we even wanted to live. So you can go and rent a small apartment, or you can go and rent a nice house and you can live there. And ultimately, if you've lived there for a year and you say, you know what, we love it here, we love living in this house, we don't want to go through the hassle of moving again, then you exercise your option to purchase and you have your house. But you also have the availability to take a year and learn the city and say, okay, here's where we want to be. Now let's go and purchase this house.
And once again, this program is called Home Partners of America. And you can find out more about it by contacting Chris Hartsfield. And you can go to hartsfieldteam@gmail.com. That's his email. And Chris, which phone number do you like to give out? The O, the C?
The O.
The O, 303-848-4790. 303-848-4790. You're listening to Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage, and you can get a hold of Affordable Interest Mortgage by going to 720-895-0500 or look them up online by aimortgage.net. I'm Dan Muir in for Scott Watley. We'll be right back.
Are you buying your first home, or are you right-sizing or downsizing for lower maintenance or a lock-and-leave lifestyle? This is Pamela Meyer of Denver Home Navigators with Keller Williams. I can help you discover and reach those goals. This is more than just real estate. It's about your life and your dreams. Call me today for your free consultation at 303-506-0106. At Denver Home Navigators, we help map your course. It's all about you. Call me now at 303-506-0106 or visit my website at denverhomenavigators.com. I'm Pamela Meyer, the exclusive agent for Haystack Help Radio, and I look forward to talking with you soon.
Did you know that each and every day, 21 United States veterans commit suicide? Last year, active duty suicides surpassed the number of combat deaths. When soldiers come home, it is a huge adjustment, and they're often plagued with disabilities, such as immobility, PTSD, or a traumatic brain injury. You can help by donating to Freedom Service Dogs. This nonprofit rescues dogs from local shelters and trains them to become service dogs for these heroes. Help give back to those who have given so much. Donate now at freedomservicedogs.org.
At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we believe that all pets deserve to have a good life. And because we know that your pet will have many different needs throughout its life, we offer complete pet care services every day, all at one location. Whether your furry friend needs a checkup, advanced medical care, surgery, boarding, grooming, obedience training, food, care products, or toys, we are here for your pet 7 days a week. At Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, we know that you want the very best for your pet, which is why you can count on us to provide top-notch care in everything we do. We are certified with the highest rankings by the American Animal Hospital Association and hold a gold star rating with the Better Business Bureau. You and your pet can visit us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are located at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. Learn more about us by visiting our website at lonetreevet.com or just give us a call at 303-708-8050.
This is Scott Watley from my friends at Rampart Firearms in Sedalia. This is a great store, family owned and operated. They buy, sell, trade, and consign firearms. You will find a great selection of new and pre-owned handguns, shotguns, and rifles. If you can't find the gun you want, Rampart Firearms will special order your gun at no extra cost. Found a gun on the internet? Rampart Firearms will do one firearm transfer and the background check for only $10 if you mention Sportsman of Colorado. Rampart Firearms, 720-468-0050. That's 720-468-0050. Located at Highway 67 in Santa Fe in Sedalia. Rampart Firearms opens 7 days a week. 720-468-0050.
Denver's Afternoon Rush. Rush to Reason is coming up at 3. Now, back to Haystack Help Radio.
Oh, yeah. Best bumper music in all of radio. Welcome back to Haystack Help Radio. Damn, you are in for Scott Wiley, and don't forget to join. I was going to say don't miss John and I today at 3:00 on Rush to Reason, and where we'll talk about today and everything that's going on in the world of politics, news, and culture. Okay, today is Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage, and we've got Jared Bozak with Affordable Interest Mortgage with us, and he's our loan expert. And we also have Chris Hartsfield with Keller Williams, and he's down in Highlands Ranch, and we're talking about this really awesome program called Home Partners of Americas. And so going back to the last segment, Chris, we were talking about, okay, so I've been approved, I've leased this property up in Longmont, and then you guys during the break started talking about something that I found absolutely fascinating, and you can join in on this too, Jared, is the equity portion of this that I never thought of. Can you explain this, how this works? Even though I'm renting, I could be starting to build equity because of how I can buy into this thing.
Absolutely. So, for example, just if you purchase a home for $100,000, so Home Partners did, contractually, you can purchase 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. So a 5-year schedule of purchasing. And so on the first year, they'll add 5% to it. So you can purchase it at any time for $105,000. And then on the second year, it'd be $110,000, and third year, $115,000. So it's at a 5%.
So it only goes up. It's locked in that it's only going to appreciate by 5% a year.
Exactly.
Well, now the market out there is appreciating at about 10%.
Yes. So you could walk into some significant equity that you didn't contribute to. You just signed a lease.
Now, you're not going to get that renting at an apartment complex.
No.
You're not going to get that renting somebody's house either.
No, absolutely not.
You're only going to get that through this program.
Correct.
That is an amazing program. Okay, so this thing sounds all great, fine, and dandy, but I'll bet you I've got to have like the world's greatest credit to qualify for something like this. I mean, it just sounds too good to be true.
Actually, you don't. You do need a 550 credit score. on
Well,
that.
550 doesn't sound like that's the world's greatest credit.
It's not, but it definitely is on the bottom tier of a lot of the programs. But that's pretty much the standard for renting and leasing is at least a 580 to 550 credit score. So that's.
No, that's really impressive. So I don't have to be a Rockefeller to get in on this program.
Yep.
So I don't have to have the world's greatest credit to get in on this program. So why wouldn't I use this program?
If you already had your lending and you've got your down payment money and you can easily get into a home and bid $10,000 to $20,000 to $30,000 over list, and you have that financial flexibility.
That's the other thing. So what kind of a down payment do you need to get into one of these properties?
You don't. So you're just obligating to a lease. So you just first and last month's rent to sign up for the program. And then once you're approved, then they contractually lock in those price points for purchasing on one.
And I'll tell you, going on your website and just looking at these rent payments, I mean, it's the same as any other rent payment out there. I mean, I don't see where it's any higher for those types of properties, because I'm still, good Lord, I'm still renting down in Castle Rock 9 years later, and I'm looking at this going, that's what an average house rents for right now anyway.
Yes, it's very competitive on their rent schedule. Home Partners really focuses on good neighborhoods and good schools, and looking for properties that are going to appreciate.
And those are the types of areas you want to live in anyway. So now there's another thing another part of this thing that you mentioned earlier that I found interesting too is why would this be a good program if I'm, unfortunately my marriage is dissolving. Let's say, no, honey, we're fine. But I'm just saying, let's say you're in the process of going through a divorce. Why does a program like this help you with that?
Well, unfortunately, I've been divorced, and one of the first things that the lawyer tells you is don't buy anything and don't move out of your kid's school district and get an apartment that's 5 miles away because you can potentially alienate yourself from your children, or at least that can be perceived in a court of law. So what this program is really good about is that you can rent a house in the neighborhood. The rental market's really tight, but you can rent. They can purchase the house in the neighborhood. You can stay in the neighborhood, rent that out, and then until your divorce is actually finalized, then look at purchasing the home after that point. So it gives you some flexibility. And Jared, you can speak with this, but if you don't have your divorce solidified or agreement signed off on, the underwriters will not take your loan.
Yeah, it's going to be problematic if you don't have what's called a divorce decree or a separation agreement that kind of delineates, here's the agreement, here's how we're splitting the assets. We've agreed to this person getting this equity in the house and that equity in the house and so on and so forth. And that's why one of the other reasons why go back and reemphasize that there is no option fee here. I mean, I've run across, there are a lot of lease option or rent-to-own type programs out there, but typically they're going to come with a $3,000 or a $5,000 upfront option fee that is non-refundable. And so you've got that money in play that's at risk if you get to the end of that term and you can't actually exercise that option to purchase. So with somebody who's going through a divorce who maybe doesn't have access immediately to an option fee to get into a program, that's where this is so beneficial, because you can go and do something like Home Partners, and yeah, it's going to be like rent where you come up with the first month's and a last month's, but it's not like you're shelling out thousands of dollars that you potentially may not ever get back.
Now that is really, really interesting. Now, if you have any questions for either Jared or Chris, please give us a call here in studio, 303-477-5600. Okay, so now looking at this table here on the website, and you've alluded to this before, Chris, is that you don't necessarily have to buy the property when that first year lease is up.
Correct. You're not obligated to purchase the property at all.
So, but let's say I move in and I'm digging it. I'm really, really liking it. And about, 3-4 months into it, I decide, I kind of want to buy this thing. Do I have to wait for that year to be up?
You don't. You can buy almost immediately on the program. So there's not a holding period for it. So on day 2, you're like, hey, this is the home for me. I've worked out my financing and we're golden. Let's pull the trigger. And then you've got a contracted strike price for that first year. Anytime during that first 365 days. Anytime you can purchase it during that period.
Okay, so I've decided that, and I've decided to pull the trigger, so then I call you, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, you can call me after the fact, and really, frankly, I recommend you kind of work with me going into the process, because ultimately Home Partners has their own qualification that they run you through, but it's not necessarily a true mortgage qualification. And so if I've talked to you ahead of time and I've kind of said, here's where you're going to qualify, and if you want to exercise this option in a few months, you can do it. Or at the very least, I've had the time to sit down and look at the situation and say, okay, this is a good option for you right now. Now, here are the steps that you need to take to get to a point where you can purchase that property. And we can kind of map that out for you to where you're not going into this blind and saying, we're going to rent this place and we just don't really know when we're going to have the option to do this.
So once again, like we said at the beginning of the show, it's better to have your financial stuff in order.
It is
ahead of time.
I think it's good to still take the steps to talk through the financing as you're going into the program.
And would you agree with that, Chris?
I would, because this is positioning yourself into being able to purchase one day. So, and just realizing what choices you have and the opportunities that you can go forward with.
Yeah, this sounds to me like the perfect program for somebody like I was 9 years ago. Or maybe let's say that, Chris, dude, let's say that maybe you just are through a bankruptcy. Let's say that your bankruptcy's been discharged and you need to start rebuilding things. Jared, Chris, what does that process look like? Maybe you could start with that, Jared. If I go to you first, okay, my bankruptcy's discharged, I want to move into a house in a year or so. What do I do?
Well, ultimately, I mean, each program has its own timeline that you wait after bankruptcy. And generally, somebody who's going to be on a quicker timeline is going to look at an FHA program. And so for like a Chapter 13, they're going to have a 1-year wait from their discharge. From a Chapter 7, they're going to have a 2-year wait. And so there are options for you to get prepared after that. But ultimately, it's just when you come out of a bankruptcy, you just kind of want to have your financial house in order. And it becomes problematic on the mortgage finance side when you've been through a bankruptcy and then there's a little bit of a relapse after you've started missing payments and things like that. So the biggest key after you've gotten out of a bankruptcy is, keep things in order, make your payments on time. It's the financial basics, and that's going to ensure that you're in a position to do mortgage financing when you're ready to do that.
So, Chris, how long after a bankruptcy, and if I get my credit score up to,
550.
550. I get my credit score up to 550. How long after a bankruptcy, my credit score is 550, can I qualify for this program?
The day after the bankruptcy is finalized. Really? So actually I had a client sold their house, had all cash offer, sold their house. They made $100,000 and they're like, oh, hey, we're just going to rent. And they did not tell me about a bankruptcy they had 3 years ago. They made all their payments. They were on time. They went to go rent in the Denver metro area. No one will rent to you if your bankruptcy is less than 5 years old. So they can get a mortgage, but you can't rent. So basically, they're almost homeless.
Oh my gosh, I have never heard that before. Yes. I did not know that.
It's pretty strict
wow.
on the renting. Obviously, that's apartment complexes, private homeowners and stuff, a case by case basis. But they were struggling to get an apartment complex. But we ended up utilizing the Home Partners of America, and now they're looking at utilizing their VA financing with 0% down and help with their closing costs. And they were just ecstatic.
This is a great program. To find out more about this program, please give Chris a call. He's with Keller Williams down in Highlands Ranch. Chris Hartsfield, give him a call at 303-848-4790, or you can send him an email, Hartsfield, HARTSFIELD, team @gmail.com. Okay, guys, when we get back, we'll wrap up on this program. We'll talk about some more things that Affordable Interest Mortgage has for us. You are listening to Haystack Help Radio here on KLZ 560. We'll be right back.
Sirens blaring, red and blue lights flashing. Getting accused of a DUI is a serious matter. Don't panic. You have Kevin Flesh of Flesh Law on your side.
License and registration, please.
Here you go, officer.
Whether you did it or not, the moment those lights turn on behind you, you're in for a life-changing experience. Keep your hands where the officers can see you. You don't want to put them on edge. And never get out of the car unless asked.
Could you step out of your vehicle, please?
Sure. Never argue. Always listen to the officers. Be polite, but don't volunteer any information.
What's this about, officers?
Remember, you do have the right to remain silent. One wrong move, and your life may never be the same.
Have you been drinking tonight?
Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. When you've been charged with a crime, call KLZ's expert defense attorney, Kevin Flesh, at 303-806-8886. That's Kevin Flesh of Flesh Law at 303-806-8886. The trial-tested representation you need in your corner.
How do you make sure you get the lowest rates for either a refinance or purchase, or getting the right loan for you and not the one they want to sell you? Take AIM, Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. We have been offering our low rates since 2001. Loan programs to eliminate mortgage insurance and save you hundreds to thousands. Paperless loan application, quick loan pre-approval so your offer is accepted on your dream home. Purchases with only 1% down and no mortgage insurance. Take AIM, 720-895-0500. Get cash out for that home improvement without having to restart your term. Home of the Asset Manager Mortgage, where you can pay off your home in half the time without changing one penny of your spending habits. Call 720-895-0500 to find out how. Take AIM. CFPB stated that the consumer has spent over $13 billion in fees on their mortgage that they may have saved had they shopped. Call us now and start saving. Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. NMLS 298191, regulated by DORA, equal credit lender. Take AIM.
Stack Optical has the latest technology in retinal imaging that can give you early detection of diseases like glaucoma, diabetes, MS, and high blood pressure. You really need to have your eyes checked every year, not just for your vision changes, but for your overall health. At Stack Optical, retinal imaging is a painless, non-invasive procedure. All you see is a flash of light, and you're done. With annual eye exams, retinal imaging, you can establish a baseline and possibly cure or stop the advancement of disease. Stack Optical has a great variety of lightweight rimless frames, and Alan Stack can also customize the shape of the rimless frames for you in his on-site lab. I've already had my annual eye exam, so get yours at Stack Optical and ask for the $69 eye exam. 303-321-1578. That's 303-321-1578, or visit stackoptical.com.
If you're looking for great deals on outdoor equipment and clothing, we've got you covered. Hi, this is Bill Paddock, owner of the Outdoorsman's Attic, your outdoor gear consignment headquarters. You'll save 20, 30, 40, even 50% on previously owned outdoor gear for the fisherman, hunter, and camper. We also sell live bait, firearms, and ammo. If you're doing a little spring cleaning, bring in your gear to the Outdoorsman's Attic. We'll sell it for you and put cash in your pocket. You can also pick up your hunting and fishing licenses right here at the store. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor gear needs is the Outdoorsman's Attic, located at 2650 West Hampton Avenue in Sheridan, Colorado. 303-781-3626. That's 303-781-3626. Or visit us online at outdoorsmansattic.com. Mention Sportsman's of Colorado and receive 20% off all your outdoor clothing.
Hi, Dan Johnson, General Manager at Len Lyle Chevrolet. You know, I hear it all the time. If you give me a good enough deal, I'll buy your vehicle. So here it is. A 2017 Crew Cab 4x4 loaded for up to $11,000 off MSRP. Or how about a 2017 Chevy Cruze, sign and drive lease for only $199 a month? Heck, that's cheaper than a used car. And we'll pay top dollar for your trade-in. So go east and pay the lease. Len Lyle Chevrolet, I-225 in East Colfax, or on the web at lenlylechevy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
Suck it up, Buttercup. Rush to Reason with John Rush, weekdays from 3 to 7 on KLZ.
That's right. Welcome back to Haystack Help Radio. Dan Muir in for Scott Watley. We've got one segment left, and this is Your Money Matters, brought to you by Affordable Interest Mortgage. And we've been talking about Home Partners of America and their lease to purchase program, which is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this is one of the best programs I've ever seen, especially if you're kind of like me, an indecisive guy. I don't want to live here, I don't want to live there. Where do I want to live? And then not only that, but if you're trying to get into a place, and you become like a cash buyer. And this is just an amazing, amazing program. And so, Chris, once again, if people want to find you, how do they find you, and where do they call you or email or whatever?
Sure. So I'm in Keller Williams in Highlands Ranch. They're off of C470 and Broadway, right behind the AMC 24. You can definitely call me directly at 303-848-4790, or you can email me at hartsfieldteam@gmail.com.
There you go. Thanks, Chris. So, Jared, what's going on at Affordable Interest Mortgage? What's the latest stuff? I mean, if interest rates skyrocketed like we were all told, nobody can afford to buy a house, the housing market crashed. I mean, what's going on?
We're kind of in a holding pattern as far as interest rates are concerned right now. And Fed just raised interest rates back, a couple weeks ago or something, and we didn't really see a whole lot of reaction to that, which is a good thing. Still very affordable. You're still on a 30-year fix in the high 3s and low 4s. I mean, it's in a historic perspective, it's a great time to access financing. And a lot of things are happening in the lending world. I think there's kind of a recognition in the conventional side of mortgage lending that we need a little bit more accessibility for people. And so one of the biggest changes that's coming up here the end of this month is that Fannie Mae is raising their allowable debt-to-income ratios. So we're going from 45 to 50%. So there may be people out there who had tried to get qualified to purchase a home, and they were just missing on the debt-to-income ratio. And so now it's going to open up a little bit more accessibility to those people.
Why don't you take just a minute and identify for us, or I'm the wrong word, but tell us what do you mean by debt-to-income ratio?
So it's just, it sounds, you take your debts, your total payments, and I'm not necessarily talking about like a water bill or a cell phone bill or anything like that, but these are actual debt payments. So if you have student loans, or if you have a car loan, you have credit cards, and you're going to total those all up. And then I'm also going to take into account your new housing payment when you're going to go purchase a home, and I'm going to total all that. And then that goes in the numerator of the equation. And then on the bottom, the denominator of that is your income. So I'm going to calculate your income, and you take your debt, you divide it by your income. And so I'm allowed to use, depending on the program, anywhere from 50 to sometimes up as high as 55 and 60% of your income to go towards debt liability payments.
So you might have good credit, but if all of your money every month is going to pay off your bills, you may have a problem getting a mortgage, even though you might have a really good credit rating.
Yeah, and one of the things that we run into, I deal with a lot of investors and a lot of self-employed people. And so the income gets a little more complicated in that subject, because if you're self-employed, obviously we understand, you have gross revenue from a business, and then you have expenses in that business, and ultimately you have a profit that is what you made. And so when you're looking at mortgage lending, ultimately what you told the IRS you made as profit from that business as your income is what a mortgage lender believes your income is. And so if you made $100,000, but you wrote off $75,000 in expenses and your net profit was $25,000, well, guess what?
You just made
$25,000.
Well, is that where the that asset manager program comes in good for business owners?
It is, and ultimately the asset manager, the qualification of it in the income is similar. As somebody who's self-employed, you're still going to have the concerns of, if you're writing all your income off, that's what they're going to use to qualify you. The benefit for business owners is the cash flow perspective to the asset manager, and the ability to cash flow through that mortgage is what really empowers that.
Yeah, like I've always said, cash flow is king.
It is, very much so.
It really is.
So ultimately, I mean, it's as a business owner, we can kind of coach you through. There are certain things that I can add back. If you have a lot of heavy equipment that you're depreciating, or if you have a vehicle that you're paying through the business, I can add that depreciation back, because ultimately that is a paper loss. You didn't actually physically lose $5,000.
Correct.
You wrote that off as a depreciating the value of a vehicle.
And Jared, that is really huge, because I owned a business and ran it for quite a few years, and that was one of the real sticklers, is that proving your income, going through all this kind of stuff, because you didn't necessarily have all the regular documentations that just a standard employee would have, because you're running this business, all that kind of stuff. And so I found that being self-employed, it was difficult to get a mortgage. And is it still that way today? And do programs like this help?
It can be. It's something that you just need to call and have the conversation. And like I said, we can kind of coach you through that. And so maybe you're not necessarily ready right now, but we can talk through how to arrange things so that you can qualify. And ultimately, if you don't qualify as what I call the in the box programs, like your conventional, your FHA, your VA programs, there are programs that I consider out of the box, such as bank statement programs, things like that, where you truly are making that money and your bank statements will show that you're making that money. And so therefore there are lenders who will use that as qualifying income to actually enable you to purchase a home.
Okay. And then what do you have for first-time home buyers right now? What kind of programs do you have?
There are a ton of programs out there right now. Obviously we have FHA, which is your 3.5% down. And then you've got you've got really 3 to 4 options on the conventional side now. And these are very recent. I mean, as far as in the last year, a lot of these programs are coming out. And so there's a lot of effort on the part of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to help first-time home buyers. So you've got 3% down on both sides, and then also you've got even 1% down on a single family that you can do, where you're going to have a 3% down payment, but a lender is going to gift you 2% of that equity, and so you're bringing in 1% plus some closing costs.
Wow, so there's a lot of creative ways to get into a house if you need to or want to.
There are, absolutely, and we're happy to help you in any way we can with that.
And once again, how do people get a hold of you, Jared?
You can call the office, 720-895-0500, and you can also get on the website, aimortgage.net. If you'd like to send me an email, you can, j.bozak, Bozak is Bouzek, at aimortgage.net.
All righty.
And then I've also got some disclosures.
Oh, yes, the disclosure part. I wish we had disclosure background music, but go right ahead, Jared.
We are Affordable Interest Mortgage, and we're a division of AI Inc. We're located at 7400 East Arapahoe Road, Suite 109 in Centennial, Colorado, 80112. Our NMLS is 298191, and we are an equal credit lender.
All righty, guys. Chris Hartsfield, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
And Jared, thanks for sitting in for Mr. Rogers.
Thanks so much.
And thanks, everybody, for listening to Haystack Help Radio. Be sure to tune in to listen to John and I today at 3 o'clock on Rush to Reason, and have a great afternoon.